Hello, good people. Good morning from Dhaka, Bangladesh. I actually planned to do one video today, but I felt like discussing this important point, which my friend sent me yesterday a link of a channel where this lady was discussing the price hike of fragrance. I think this was done few maybe months back or something, like the video was, but mostly. Let me see if I can get the channel's name. I didn't open it. So basically, the channel is called what's this channel called? Okay, it's called Pika Scent. Okay, so I did subscribe to her from my phone. Let's subscribe here. She's actually good reviewer, like she is very good at the content making. So my brother Shoykot Bhai, he sent me that, Joy Bhai, see, this is the price hike, especially Dior, double the price in last few years, Chanel's, and then this girl Picasso was actually showing another video where she was going to the mall and picking up perfumes and telling the price, and she was like, man, this one, the small bottle now costs more than the big bottle which I used to own, so it's not worth it. So thing is, first of all, these are all subjective things, okay, and I will discuss from my point of view, and this can be totally my point of view only. Many will agree, many will not, so this is up for debate perhaps. But as a fragrance reviewer, because I've been collecting for a long time, and I did collect every type of fragrances. I had designers, niche, indie, Middle Eastern, clones, dupes, cheapies, body sprays. I review everything. I have no prejudice or anything like that, because for me content creation is important, and I feel everybody is entitled to some sort of review, because not everybody's budget is the same. Let's say in the car market, not everybody is going to be in the BMW showroom, right? People sometimes buying Kias, Hyundai, or some Chinese manufacturers, okay? The reason being, everybody works in different level. I have covered this topic before, but what I really feel, I'll state again, that is, everybody has different job, or earning source. Not everybody is rich. Some people are in the lower, not lower class, what do you call that, middle class, like lower middle, and then upper middle, and then middle, like high class rich people, right? So we have all sort of people who are from poor to rich, basically, yeah. And people who are really like at the bottom, in the income zone, they are majority in the world. So I think middle class is somewhere in the middle, and then the what do you call, the top rich are the minority, right? So they are the very small amount of people who own the most resources and money. So rich people are not in the majority, but they hold the majority of the wealth. So this is the general information. So the people who are really poor, they don't really bother about fragrances. For them, a body spray, or just like a Playboy, or one of those cheap colognes will do for them. $4 or $5, that's all they spend. Let's say people who are in the upper middle class, these are the people who used to spend a lot on designer perfume, especially designers, okay? And designer fragrances are, to them, like Dolce & Gabbana, Versace, Paco Rabanne, or let's say any of the houses, Asaro, YSL, right? So these houses, to them, was like luxury, Gucci, right? To them, this was luxury, and they would actually cherish this. They would buy this in the yearly discounts or offers. People would get this because to them, designers are the things to go, and they would collect some niche, one or two. But these people would not buy the super expensive niche at niche pricing. Like most people do not buy Rouge à Dove, okay? Because Rouge à Dove is a very premium brand. They are targeting the market like people who have the top dollars, like Kilian, or let's say Francis Kirk Jones, right? Okay, MFK, or even what's the house name? Always forget. Portrait of a Lady. You guys know. So that house, right? So these houses are for people who actually have so much money. Okay, I'm just going to use very layman's terms, so it's easy for you to understand. So already prices were kind of up from before COVID, okay? And after COVID, you guys know, like, the effect took place that everything was closed for a long time. So they had to restart the business, resource, and the quality ingredients that became very rare to find, or hard to get, or expensive. So yeah, there were some justification, and also some companies took advantage of it because everybody increased their price. So these other brands, even though their cost didn't go much high, but they went crazy on pricing. So you see, I don't want to bash any brand, but I saw examples like Burberry's Goddess or Burberry's Hero, right? Burberry is a house. I'll tell you, maybe they have more expensive line, but fragrance like Burberry's London, Burberry's Brit, Burberry's Holiday, Touch. This was somewhere before COVID. This we could get 35 like within $40 easy. So they were affordable. Now if you want to go buy any Burberry, it will cost you $60. So 35 to 60, it's like a, for me it's like a very almost double rise. Okay, and let's say the niche, let's say Creed Aventus, I told you once, Aventus was like more of a $200 here. Royal Oud was like $200. Now if you want to buy those same 120 ml bottles, you have to spend $1,000. That's it. Maybe because they have already released 100 ml versions, so now those are vintage. But 100 ml would cost you 350, 450. Okay, which is ridiculous. Even for a tester, you have to pay $350. So you see from the price hike, whatever reason, justification you can say, those things are there, and it's true, they are there. But what's happening is people's income. I mentioned it before. You and me, what we earn, did they double our salary? The economy got better. The world economy got worse because of all the disappointing war and all the situation. And definitely it will have the airspace problem, and then it will impact, because some people just some countries would restrict other countries for visa or traveling bans, and then the flights become more expensive because they have to go around, change the route. So the importers of perfumes, those who resell here, or any shops, okay, say retailers, they now have to pay more taxes at the airport from the customs, or pay more for the flights. These are true. Definitely these are true, and I do not blame them. So Dior Homme Intense, for example, my favorite fragrance, Chanel Allure Sport Edition Blanche, this used to cost within $100 somewhere in 2018, 19, up to the COVID. Then they started becoming a little bit expensive. Platinum Egoist became $130. And after the price hike, they started charging $200 for each Chanel. That's it. From 130, it jumped to 200. Okay, so Chanel's basically became out of our reach. I thought of buying Bleu de Chanel, Allure Eau Extreme backup. Who's going to pay $200 for Chanel? Our mentality is now that if those prices we're going to pay for Chanel and Dior, we can get niche fragrances. You can get almost 3 Manceras at this price, which are niche, okay, and they give 120 ml bottles. So people who are in the middle class, upper middle class, in this, like in the middle point where you used to buy a lot of designers, we are not buying that many designers anymore. And I, even as a reviewer, I told you guys, I can afford fragrances, but the overall situation, like I do have a Decant page, none of the designers sell there. People don't want, they're not even interested in new releases, not because the fragrances are bad or anything, but previously they were within like affordable budget. Now imagine, like, you have to sell like a 5 ml of Chanel for like $15. People can add $5 more and can get a full Middle Eastern fragrances, like this kind of, like a Gulf Orchid, just give me an example, or Latafaz. And people thought of it, most people who want to make sense and practical, they don't have the luxury to go for 50 ml bottles for $250. Okay, they are not the rich ones. So for them, they had to lower their not taste, like, or maybe the demand. They felt like, because my salary is still here, earning is still here, but the price have gone high, so what can I get within my budget? And nowadays this is the reality that many reviewers will tell you. It's not just a promotion or it's a gimmick. It's true that most of the fragrances, Middle Eastern perfumes, are selling the most. They are taking over the market. Bangladesh, all the sellers tell me, brother, I'm struggling so much to sell one of the Dior's, okay, whereas I'm selling hundreds of Middle Eastern fragrances because people can afford them, and they are just buying like 5-6 together, and that is even going to be cheaper than a Chanel or Dior. So you see, the argument is very solid, and obviously the big companies are not happy about this whole thing because the sales are falling, the popularity is sort of falling. So now designers are trying to compete, as my brother Shoykot Bhai said. He feels designers are trying to compete with niche. Okay, let's say 2 brands. Okay, let's give you close by. I have these 2 brands, Rojada and Dolce & Gabbana, 2 different brands. Okay, this is so much more luxurious brand than Dolce & Gabbana. This is a designer, this is a niche. So this fragrance, first time I bought it, it was under $200. Now this is over $200. This used to be $150. So now Dolce & Gabbana, what they're trying to do, they're trying to reach the same, prestige at the niche, and this point they're increasing the prices, which are kind of going towards the niche pricing. So people know one thing. I'll tell you what I read a few days back. I wanted to buy Dolce & Gabbana Mysterious Night and Dolce & Gabbana Royal Night as a backup because these are discontinued. The prices they were asking together, they would cost me $300. And I'm like $150 on each of those. Yes, they are travel exclusive, not they are limited edition, they are Middle Eastern releases, but are they that good? I reviewed them and I sold off my Royal Night, Mysterious Night, Luminous Night. Luminous Night was good, but it did not feel like people asking for $250 for it. It did not reach. Okay, Frederic Malle example. Okay, Frederic Malle 50 ml Master of Azure would cost you $250, right? Same price for Luminous Night. Which one are you gonna prefer? For me personally, for quality, longevity, all together, you know, like how posh it smells, uniqueness, Frederic Malle, easy. Even if it's a 50 ml, that fragrance, it will one spray, you know, good. Luminous Night may be good for up to 130, 140, right? But people are seeing that, you know, oh no, Dolce & Gabbana didn't increase the quality so much, they're just giving a gimmick or sort of trying to give that name Middle Eastern exclusive, right? But their juice is at best mediocre or good, solid, but they do not touch the Middle Eastern brands, for example, Arabian Oud, Rasasi, okay, Ahmed Al-Maghribi. They are giving huge amount of oil and the fragrances are, you can smell the complexity in them. I always tell you, I just love this one, right? The Ignite Rose, yeah. So if you smell the quality of this, I cannot transport the smell to you, but if you smell it, you'll see none of the designers at this current moment can beat the quality of Ahmed Al-Maghribi, price versus what you get. It's an easy equation, okay? So this is the reality, you know, nowadays, whose fault is it? We do not know. It's fault of people, it's fault of situation, and fault of obviously that COVID thing, you know. So life has become so difficult. We are now seeing Bangladesh, you know, like we're applying for visa in many countries, they're rejecting our visas, okay? They don't give visa to many people, especially this Bangladeshi passport, obviously for political reasons and some other reasons. We also messed it up very bad. But the whole fragrance game now, it's kind of like in the cold zone, okay? People are applying, buying, but the amount of people who used to have engaging in a community, suddenly, like, I cannot say for sure how much, but there's a significant drop, like 55% people just left, the usual faces who used to buy a lot of perfumes. They do not spend any money in fragrances. I had the page, we had like 3, 4, 5 customers every month, they would get majority of our sales. Now I am selling off some of my bottles, you know, as partial and for cheap price, not the regular market price. And these are for like emergency, right? So I'm having to sell more partials from my collection than Decant. So Decant is not a good business anymore. And a lot of people are offering cheap prices, people don't buy from them. So what it tells me, my country situation, I know for sure that business has dropped significantly. And yeah, the sellers are trying to show that it's going, selling like hotcakes, whatever, but people in general do not buy like before. The rich people, however, the filthy rich, which people, the people don't bother about economic crisis because they have so much money. To them, you know, more power to them. They are enjoying their game, they're buying, you know, on regular basis. For them, it doesn't affect them. But the reality is, in a shop, you know who are the most important buyers for a seller? These are the people who are in the middle class, okay? They would buy every month frequently, 3, 5, 10 fragrances, and in the end, they will actually purchase sometimes more than what rich people are purchasing. Let's say the rich people buy only one niche per month. But these designer guys used to be the collectors. They used to buy like 15, 20 fragrances per month from a shop. That will actually cost more than what this guy is paying for this niche, right? So now middle class people, they are now opting to buy from the same sellers, but they're buying the Middle Eastern perfumes. So yeah, I mean, people are complaining, but this is the reality. What's the solution? Is the price going to go down? I heard from the sellers, once they increase the price, they'll never decrease, okay? It will never go like before. Brand new fragrance is 120. After 2 months, it comes down to 80. Then it becomes 60, 70. No more the case. It always stays same. And if not same, like a fragrance example, okay? I bought this first time for $75, Brioni for EDP, men EDP Intense. Then I paid second bottle 85, and now this is going like $100, okay? The tester is a little bit cheaper, but the price of these are not going down, right? So I will get a backup bottle just for myself, but the amount of money that I personally used to spend has definitely decreased. I do not buy as many as before. And if let's say sales is good, I buy a few. But designer fragrances are struggling for sure, and they are releasing some not really great fragrances. I see just the flankers, a little bit different bottle color or the name, but more or less it's not really different deviation, like say Diorama Intense, Diorama Parfum, Diorama Sport, Diorama O. All these was one type. Chanel Allure Sport, Edition Blanche, Eau Extreme, okay, Cologne. These were like each of them were collection worthy. Fahrenheit, Le Parfum. Nowadays, Dior is not releasing anything new as far as I know. Chanel did one or two, but that Lager or whatever that Sport, Allianz Sport, $200, I didn't want to pay. So now designers are not releasing that many interesting perfumes, at least the mainstream. Maybe the lesser known ones they're releasing, we just do not know, right? So at this moment, for time being, I would suggest to you maybe shift your game a little bit or put a pause and do the things that's important to you. You don't have to really collect, maybe you can collect partials from people who sell off in a good deal, or you can get like lower juice level partials or decants, those would be good. But if you are like collector, like before, like vintage collector, the game now is way too expensive. You think like I'm going to spend and it's going to be good investment for future, you'll have a hard time selling it because nobody's going to buy overpriced fragrances, okay, even if it's discontinued, doesn't sell, right? So hold your horses. Do some research. If you're finding it a little bit heat, like in the market, maybe look into brands which are more budget friendly as well as makes more sense, and for the price to ratio, quality ratio, they are better. So in that way, yeah, Middle Eastern companies are winning. Sometimes they make French Avenue, they're making quality better than designers nowadays. What you gonna do? Okay, so thank you so much for watching, and do let me know how you feel about the price hike. And I know in London, in UK, prices are crazy expensive. My friends from there, reviewers, Matt, and then few of the other ones in our group, brothers, they tell me, bro, if I go to the mall right now, 50 ml Hugo Boss cost me around 120 pounds. I'm like, that's even like so much more expensive than what we have in Bangladesh, because it's insane. So its struggle is real. So what can we do? I just pray. We can only pray things get better, the tension gets less, and the world come back to less arguments or conflicts. And also I noticed one thing, the days are passing by like crazy. This is just my observation. Let's say today is a Friday, for example. Okay, I wake up weekend, I go, okay, we can have some coffee, go somewhere, and I go to sleep, I wake up, another Friday is here. And in our religion it says it's a sign of doomsday or something. It's obviously it's a religious talk, but I kind of see time is flying, like from 2016 to 2025. I don't know how this time went by so fast. We're getting older, and then I'm sometimes numb. So I also feel that time's like every day is going so fast. Before one day is gone. So yeah, weird. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching, and keep me in your prayers. I feel the internal, like the fever is, I don't have like heat or temperature, but from inside the body ache. I don't want to wake up, fatigue. So I'm gonna take some lot of citruses, oranges and stuff. Let's see what happens. You guys take care also in Bangladesh. Also be careful from the mosquitoes, okay? Very, very dangerous. And also keep drinking plenty of water. Take care. See you soon. Have a nice day.